Hello and welcome to The Pulse, reacting to Chelsea's 3-1 win over Southampton at Stamford Bridge. I'm in the company of Sam, who's been brilliant all day, mate. Sam, big deep breath. Let's start with the hashtag, shall we? Because this is, I suppose, going to sum up the game for us today, which is late show, because it really was, mate. We could have been having a very different chat 25 minutes ago, but two late goals for Chelsea, 3-1 win. It's hammering it down outside, and everyone goes home a little bit happier.
Yeah, I think the conversation we had at half-time, it went in the complete opposite direction. I think Southampton, the way they set up, they went 3 at the back, they went 5 at the back, so it kind of threw us off maybe, and then it took us a few moments to adjust, and then Livramento, that dribbling, we know firsthand that he's so good at it, and Chilwell just got caught out. But I think the response, especially when Mount came on, the energy just lifted. His first touch just got everyone up, and then from there, luckily Ward-Prowse as well, he gave us a little edge as well. But I think the boys really dug in, and I'm happy for Werner as well, man.
Oh, Timo has been. We said at half-time how unlucky he's been. So pleased for him to get his goal.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it at half-time. He's one of those players that he doesn't. You can almost see that his confidence does decrease in a sense when the chances aren't going in, but he doesn't tell himself that's it. He just keeps on working, getting in those positions, and at that point, brilliant pass from Aspie. I think the pass before that from Barkley, Tuchel again, another great decision to bring him on. Pass to Aspie, brilliant first-time ball, and then Timo, you can see the emotions. He just wants to score goals, and he was so used to it, and he just wants to get in that room again. And hopefully, this will help him kick on.
Massively. Well, let's get into our knee-jerk reaction then for today, which is I suppose immediate reaction. Little bit tongue-in-cheek, because it is a funny old game, isn't it? That's Ben Chilwell getting his knee over a third, which I think all of us took 3 or 4 looks to check it was over the line. But the referee's watch went, must have done, to say it was over the line. Great decision. Like you just said there, the red cards. First half we came in 1-0, and we were probably a little bit disappointed to only come in 1-0 up. Could have been 2. Timo had 1 chalked off. Potentially could have had 3 even, if you look at some aspects. Lukaku had 1 chalked off as well. Then all of a sudden they score, and you think maybe the game's edging a little bit. The red card originally was a yellow card. VAR then upgraded it to a red card once the referee had gone to the monitor and seen it. And then all of a sudden the game swings again. Yeah. It was so. If you're not a Chelsea fan, today would have been an amazing game of football because it was very tense for a lot of it. Yeah. But it is a funny old game, and that's football, isn't it? Yeah,
it was so interesting. We had so many mixed emotions as it was going on. I think you almost thought that it was a red. I thought that it was. It's one of those ones. It's the rules. You can tell why he gave it as a red, and you can almost see that he didn't really want to give it. But once you put your studs up and you don't win the ball, you could see in Ward-Prowse's reaction. As soon as he didn't win the ball, he almost knew he was going to get sent off. And then I think he also knew the reaction it would have on his team, because they were literally preparing to just sit back. And once that happened, it's like, OK, boys, let's kick on. And Mount coming on as well. That's just a long day for Southampton, and it proved to be. Oh,
big time. Yeah, I completely agree. Let's have a little look at the game on social, then starting with a lot of positive reaction over Trevor Chalobah's original. Gabriel, that's a great tweet, that, isn't it? That was a really good one. Thank you, Chalobah. Ric Flair reference. Love that. Love that. This one from Steve. You know what I like about FPL? Someone somewhere will have captained Chalobah. No one in this studio, unfortunately. No, I had Edouard Mendy, so I was one line behind in terms of a Chelsea goalkeeper. Loftus-Cheek assist and Chalobah. It was such a good moment. And again, it works perfectly because we mentioned that the Cobham kids, as they're kind of coined before the game, it means a lot for Trevor and Ruben and Mason and Callum Hudson-Odoi to play for Chelsea. But a Ruben assist and a Trevor finish, what a dream!
Yeah, and I think it's worked out so well for Tuchel, because he took a risk in a sense, making 5 changes, you know what I mean, and putting those boys into those positions. But they literally proved him right, because Chalobah was quality. Loftus-Cheek, you could say, was unlucky to get taken off, but then Barkley did what he'd done. Callum Hudson-Odoi, in his preferred position, we saw him taking on his defender, and that's what we just want to see. So I think they all played a good game, man.
I completely agree. Speaking of Ruben, a lot of people, rightly so, giving him a lot of praise online as well. He starts, he assists, a perfect return for Ruben Loftus-Cheek. He was brilliant again today. Absolutely brilliant, wasn't he? Loftus-Cheek woke up feeling dangerous today from Jeffrey. It's nice. It's nice. And one more on Ruben here, actually. He was brilliant. Literally, all the common boys are cooking here. It's so true. And with Ruben, this is going to sound like such a strange comment, but he does what other players do. When there's wet weather, the ball drifts a little bit more.
Yeah.
Ruben almost one of those players. It looks like it's wet when he's playing because of the way that he rolls through people. Do you know what I mean? He kind of drifts, he glides, doesn't he? Yeah. So a performance like he did today will only emphasise what everyone else has been saying. And I hate to be that guy, but I'm quite pleased he's not going away with England.
Yeah.
Because he can now have a couple of weeks maybe to just carry on doing what he's doing, because whatever he's doing at the moment is working. Yeah,
and I think it's like you said, you don't want to say it, but even with Callum Hudson-Odoi as well, those decisions, you can tell they're really enjoying their club football. They know how competitive it is to get into this team, but they're up for the challenge, and that's what you want to see in a squad so big, with full of so much quality. And Loftus-Cheek literally took his chance. Like, I think there's going to be a lot of calls for him to start the next game and probably the game after that. And even Barkley as well, he's pushed himself up the ranks. So there's a lot of competition, but it's nice to see, and it's nice to see everyone rising to the occasion.
Completely right. Well, we've already mentioned Timo Werner finally got his goal, but it was a horrible stat. Actually, have a look at this, because he had a goal disallowed just before half-time. Werner's had 16 goals disallowed for Chelsea. 16 goals.
Imagine what that does for your confidence.
In just over a season as well, you know. And he got more assists than any Chelsea player last year. I think there's a stat going around that he assisted more goals in his debut season. I think there's only Cesc Fabregas in recent memory. Eden Hazard, I think, is on a similar path. But they're the kind of levels we're talking about him assisting. If he had 16 goals to his tally, people are talking about him as, you know, getting the credit he deserves about being one of the best centre-forwards in the league. Yeah. He's so unfortunate, he's so unlucky, but you do make your own luck, and eventually he got his rewards today, and he got his goal at the end. Yeah,
and it was rightfully deserved. He'd been in those positions, he was picking up the ball, he was driving at people as well. He just looked confident, and I think he was more of a dominant figure up front than Lukaku, because I think Southampton was so focused on Lukaku, they almost forgot about Werner. So when he was driving in and making the chance, he created quite a few chances today. So I think the goal was deserved.
Oh, absolutely. There was a slight frustration, I suppose, as well, from not only Chelsea fans, but potentially the players as well, that weren't going in perhaps a little bit more comfortable. We come out the second half, Southampton started really well, and they got back on level terms after James Ward-Prowse converted a penalty made by Tino Livramento, who was brilliant today. I mean, Nick has nailed it. Tino Livramento causing havoc here. We know how good he's been, because if you've watched any of the Fifth Stand over the last 18 months, he's been an ever-present in PL2 games and highlights especially, because he's been sensational, but he was brilliant today.
Sometimes you look at him, it's like he's a right-back, but he scares you when he's in your final third, because you don't know what he's going to do. Even the way he took on Chilwell before he won the penalty, I would have dived in there as well.
Yeah, me too.
Because he looked like he was going to deliver, and then that little nick that he just took past him, Chilwell couldn't really say anything, but that's how good he is, and I think he's going to have an amazing season.
It's scary to think. I think he's still 18.
Yeah.
Still 18,
yeah.
And Southampton did switch to a 5 or a 3, and then a 4 across the middle, or a 5 across the middle. We've seen teams match up against us in the past, but Jason made a great point on commentary, which was, you can match us, but you're not us, you know, and there will always come a point where you go, you can do so much, but when you're going man for man, Chelsea are going to better you, because they know the system, they know how to play. And I suppose that was the credit to Southampton until they got the red card. When they matched us, they've done really well in that situation.
Yeah, and I think it almost shocked us in a sense, because I didn't expect them to match us after this, going into the second half, but they did quite well. And after they got that goal, it was like, the panic stations in a sense, because you don't necessarily, they're just going to sit back. So we're going to have to now try and break them down. And because we've been struggling to create chances in other games, you're almost thinking, is this going to be the same old story? But I think even when Prowse was on, we were still edging at them, getting at them, and obviously him coming off made it easier. But yeah.
It's that constant positivity as well that within the Chelsea camp. I mean, Timo Werner, we spoke about how unlucky he is, the amount of goals he's had, he's had disallowed, but the relief from Chelsea fans, the fact that he got his goal, because he does deserve so much. He keeps getting into those positions. He keeps putting himself in the firing line. And, you know, there are a lot of players, and I'm not digging at anyone specifically. This is good. This is VAR trying to find a reason to rule out Werner's goal. Like, do you know what? And I'll be perfectly honest with you.
You didn't celebrate because you was nervous.
I was so nervous when the As people. I was like, oh no, please don't be, because. but he keeps putting himself in those positions. There are a lot of players, a lot of very good players in the past that when it hasn't gone right at big clubs have kind of shied away a little bit, shied away from it. Timo doesn't. He keeps putting himself in those positions and he keeps getting a goal. And we've just been down to see the fans, haven't we? Just outside. He's hammering it down, by the way. We've just been down to see fans. All you can hear is people singing Timo Werner's song.
Yeah, because everyone's just so happy for him because he, like you said, he puts himself in those positions. He doesn't shy away from getting in those positions. Even if he misses 2 or misses 3, he's still going to keep working it. And I think Tuchel sees that in him as well. He's just got that relentless attitude of, if I make this mistake, I'm going to keep on going. And you've got to love that. You can't not love a man that his head doesn't go down all the time and he's not just trying to like dwell on those opportunities. Like, I'm going to get them because I'm putting myself there, and if they don't come this time, they're going to come next time, and it did.
I completely agree, and maybe you could even say the same with Ben Chilwell, because Ben gave away the penalty against Timo Livramento, and again, fantastic, but getting the goal, the third goal.
What a volley as well.
What a volley that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, probably not going to get the credit he deserves for that. I mean, this is called from Abu, Ben Chilwell. Now that's how to respond when you give away a goal of the week. The difficult thing is he might not get the credit for that, because still there's a lot of us that have seen 3 or 4 angles and they're not quite sure if it's in or not. But then you see the animated image of the ball actually crossing the line. But it's an incredible volley after a bit of pinball in the box where Lukaku hits the post, Asby hits the crossbar. But then you're right, what a volley and what a return as well.
Yeah, and I think that's like what we've just been saying in terms of the mentality. Like, once something goes against you, just keep on going. As a left wing back, you don't always get those opportunities to get into the final third and score those goals. But Chilwell, he still found himself there and he scored the goal, and it was an amazing volley. I think I've seen him score another volley or a shot like that in the past, so he's definitely capable of it. So that's definitely going to do something good for his confidence.
In a strange way, it's a very typical Marcos Alonso goal, isn't it?
yeah, literally.
The way he gets his knee over it, he hooks the left-footed volley. But we saw this last season. Ben Chilwell started the season when Thomas Tuchel came in. Marcos Alonso starts left wing back. We spoke about needing competition for places. Chilwell's done himself no harm there, because, like you say, you test a player's character by, if it's not going their way, how do they react? He's given away a penalty. He'd be disappointed with that. We saw him punch the turf in disappointment. But he's not got his head down. He's not gone hiding. He kept showing for the ball, and he's got his goal to respond to that.
Yeah, and I think Tuchel's going to be so happy about that in terms of everyone's just mindset, because in the first 10 minutes, especially after they scored the penalty, you could almost sense that they were building in confidence, and that's when you need to see from the team, like, that second wind and what you can do with that second wind and how you can go on to win the game. Because, like we know, we've said at the beginning, we're going to concede goals. There's going to be moments in a game where things don't go in your favour, but you've got to keep on working at it. And you see that across the back line, the midfield, up front as well. Lukaku, he missed an opportunity, but he still getting there, same as Werner. So it's good. I think he's going to be so happy with just the energy and the constant energy from the team.
No, I completely agree, mate. Completely agree. I've already mentioned it, but myself and Sam just nipped downstairs to speak to some of the fans. Thank you to whoever lent me a brolly from the office, by the way, because it is hammering it down. Here's what the fans were thinking.
Yeah, it was a hard game, but we came back. When the red card came in, it changed the game. So, good result. Not the best performance, though.
That's a good result. Good effort towards the end. It's good to see the team gelling. Some new players like Loftus-Cheek and Barkley coming back in.
How unlucky is Timo Werner?
He deserved it. He's always trying his heart out, and it was great to see him get a second goal.
Oh, mate, I tell you what, I knew we were going to bounce back. I knew we were going to come back stronger, and we went and did it, didn't we? Yeah. We went and did it. I was a bit shaky at a point. After they scored that pen, I thought, oh, mate, we're not doing this again, are we?
Let's have a little word about Ross Barkley, because he came on and he got the pre-assist for Werner's goal as well. A lovely crossfield pass to Azpilicueta. He's another one that we mentioned about Ruben maybe even 6 weeks ago, probably thinking, I'm going to struggle to get in here. He's come on a sub in the last 2 games and he's looked impressive in both. And
that's the thing, like we said at the beginning, Tuchel's given everyone a fair opportunity to prove themselves in the squad, and Barkley's obviously doing well in training, and when he comes on, he's doing well. The pre-assist for the goal, it was something that you almost know that is in his locker, but you don't necessarily know if he's going to be able to constantly pull it off. But that, in those moments, just second thought, played a pass, and it was quality. And that's the thing. We have so much quality in our midfield. Players are so good at different things, and I think Barkley brings something else that maybe Loftus-Cheek didn't have it in that moment. And Tuchel, again, you just got to give it to him, because he's making all the right changes at the right time.
He always does, doesn't he? He always gets it right. Always gets it right. We mentioned football's a funny old game. Myself and Sam have been put through it a little bit in the studio today. Here's our reactions to some of the action that we've seen today. We've not seen these yet. That was the first goal. I think you're heading that one in, aren't you? I am doing prep there, by the way. That is me working. That was the
Little
disallowed
spin
goal.
as well.
Oh, no.
The emotions of the game, man.
So that's the
Gotta love
VAR one. And the red card. Giving it the Drogba with a double pump there as well. Love that.
You know when the celebrations start getting angry, you're like, stop this. Yeah.
That's the 3-1 goal.
My hands up
dear
because I
me.
still don't know if it's in. I still don't know if it's in or not. And it's like, I think I was up like that for like 2 minutes straight because I still didn't know if can they recall it, if they're giving it, and it's like, you don't know what's going to happen.
You're just hoping at some point Werner's not involved, and then VAR will be looking again. They'll be trying to take anything away from the poor boy. But it's been one of those games. It's been one of those games where you've seen every emotion gone through there, but. With the VAR goal, you do find yourself being a little bit more hesitant now, a little bit more reserved until you see it go in.
Yeah.
The Ben Chilwell one, Ben mentioned Romelu Lukaku, I suppose, will be quite relieved as well. Rom's going to score bagfuls of goals this season. He'll still be disappointed he didn't put that 100%. In from close range, won't he?
100%. And I think it's because it was so close. It's almost you just expect him to win to score it, but he's very lucky that Chilwell just kind of saved him in a sense, because that would have definitely been a talking point that people would have said. But he still had a good game. He was still holding up as well, bringing other people into the game. But I'd say Werner was definitely the attacker that was really causing them like constant problems throughout.
That's definitely something you mentioned there about Lukaku's hold-up play, because his back to goal today was brilliant.
Yeah,
and again,
amazing.
probably not going to get the credit it deserves because of the way the game played out. But there's 3 or 4 chances. I think there was one. It might even have been Werner where McCarthy makes a really good save, and it all starts with Lukaku pinning Salisu, rolling the ball off. He does that so well. He almost does the job of a faultless centre forward at times, Romelu Lukaku, doesn't he? And we expect him to be that guy that just kind of plays the width for the 18-yard box and scores goals. But he's the complete centre forward, and if you've got him in your team, he gives you so many different variants.
And that's the thing. A lot of the questions around the last 2 losses that we had is that who else is going to score if Lukaku's not scoring? We've seen today that we've got players that will score amazing goals as well, and Lukaku can still be in the fold. So I think it's almost a good thing that. Not a good thing, because I would have wanted to score for my fantasies, you know what I mean? I captained him. But at the same time, for the team, I think it's good that they also know that they can get involved in the goals.
Trevor Chalobah, 2 in 3, by the way, at Stamford Bridge this season. 66%. That is stunning.
That's good.
He's got 2 Premier League goals now, same amount as Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Gabriel Jesus, Danny Ings. He's keeping esteemed company there. Both different types of goals as well. I mean, we'll come back to the header, but all 3 types of goals today. Timo Werner's header. If that's Lukaku, people are going expected. But Timo's not the biggest, but he's risen above a tall, sort of burly centre-half in Bednarek and headed in at the back post. It's a brilliant header. It really is a good header, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's why it was annoying, because it's like, you don't have to disallow it. You don't have to go that far back to disallow this goal, because Callum Hudson-Odoi, the ball was amazing. The header, like you said, he actually rose, and that's the hunger, do you know what I mean? He really wanted to get on it, but like you said, he still got his goal in the end, and if I was in that position, I would still be thinking about that throughout the whole game. So Werner's definitely got a spirit that I wouldn't have had.
You mentioned earlier about Tuchel getting things right. He brings in Chalobah, he scores. He brings in Ruben, plays brilliantly again, gets the assist. Brings in Callum, gets the assist. Starts Werner, and a lot of people would have started Havertz, or even talk about Mount coming back in. Scores. Even to the extent, like we mentioned, Ross Barkley, he brings Ross on to change the game, and he does exactly that. A lot of people would have raised eyebrows at you making this many changes. Southampton are a decent side who have got a good point away at Old Trafford and against Man City this season. At home to United and away to City. But it's brave to make those decisions. He could have easily gone with experience today and kind of almost reverted to type, but he hasn't. He's made those changes. He's been brave, and he's been repaid for it.
And that's what you can almost. It's the reward for having confidence in your team, and he's definitely got that in the whole squad. It's not that he just trusts the 11. He genuinely believes that people on the bench can come on and do what the people that started have done, and that's what we've been saying throughout the whole of this season. We've got such quality and depth. Even with Mount coming on when he did, it changed everything, and the energy it needed that shift in change, and he knew when to do that. With Barkley as well, Loftus-Cheek was having a great game, but he also knew to bring on Barkley because there was something different that he needed, and then it worked out. And I think that you're going to see that a lot this season with Tuchel's in-game management. It's been incredible so far.
And the criticism of Chelsea over the last couple of days has been, you don't take enough shots. 20 shots today, 9 on target. Again, that's quickly kind of eradicating any grievances you've got with that. The run of fixtures Chelsea have got now after the international break, got Brentford away, Norwich, Malmo, Southampton again in the Carabao Cup at some point as well in the next sort of 6-7 weeks. So it's a favourable run now, but like we said, it's important today to get that dealt with, and then we can start afresh when we come back after the international break and hopefully carry this on, I suppose.
Yeah, and all of those games, they might look simple because of the teams or where they're positioned, but at the same time, we know how the Premier League is. We probably thought we were going to come into this game. I thought it was going to be 2-0 or 3-0, but as soon as once you see one decision is not given and then a decision is given for them, it can change everything. But it's about, the reason I'm confident is because of the squad depth and how well we're reacting to certain situations that we might not have predicted. And you can almost tell that the team are ready for this challenge. Everyone's putting us as favourites because of the squad that we have. We're there with Cities and the Liverpools, but we're proving it. It's not just people saying it. You're seeing it on a week-to-week basis. There's a foundation that we have defensively. Going forward, there were questions. We proved that today that we can shoot and we can get on target as well.
Absolutely right. The run of fixtures we've got, we mentioned it there, but I suppose you've got to be looking at maximum points from Brentford away, Norwich at home, Newcastle away, Newcastle at home, and then Burnley as well in that run. That's before the next international break. It gets a little bit harder after then you've got the Christmas run as well, Leicester, Man United, West Ham in that run, and Christmas and all the congestion of fixtures. So I suppose that'd be, if you look at the season in blocks and chunks now, that middle one now we've got between the two international breaks coming up, that's where you look at and you think, OK, well, now we've got our favourable run. You probably look at that and say, if we get maximum points and we put Norwich and Burnley to the sword a little bit, and build up a little bit of a head of steam, you go into the next set of fixtures. But is there now a little bit of a danger that we've just started to we've eradicated all the issues, we've got a 2-week break now? You've got to hit that ground running as soon as you come back, because it's difficult, isn't it, to adapt as soon as you come back. Players will be off here, there and everywhere, and quarantining rules in other parts of the world. It's important now, Brentford, when we do come back, that we make sure that we carry on what we've done today, but start properly. Yeah,
definitely. And I think it's going to be interesting, but like we've been saying, because we've got such squad depth and everyone's of a certain standard, Tuchel's lucky in a sense where if there is a few players that don't come back in time or they get a little nick on international duties, then it'll be all right. Like, there's no one, like he said in the press conference before the game, there's no one that is, if they don't play, we're not going to win. And that's something that he's tried to drill into the fans and probably into the team as well. Like, we've got that much quality that we can go into a game with a team that you might not have even expected, but get a good result.
Absolutely right. And like you said, even down to the goalkeeper. I mean, we've seen both goalkeepers play this season. Obviously, not a huge amount of football coming up, but we have got a little bit still to keep you occupied on the Fifth Stand app. So make sure you tune in with us tomorrow, 11:55, PL2 Live, Chelsea versus Blackburn Rovers. That should be a decent game as well. Chelsea-Blackburn, yeah, it'll be a very decent game. Looking forward to that. Mate, thank you so much. Incredible debut. Superb. I'm the only one clapping, so it's not going to hold the weight that it should do, but imagine there's 40,000 Chelsea fans as well. You'll be back very soon, mate. Thank you so much for that. You've been absolutely superb. Man. Thank you very much for joining us. We are back to winning ways. 14 days until Chelsea play in the Premier League again, so rest up and then we'll go again. Thank you for watching.